funny, like, so with cannabis it's the same thing actually. We could have a model, and of course it will be more harmful to our kids that they may come across more cannabis if it is a pushed. But to be honest, I don't think we even have a supply that's nearly enough to suffice the current adult model, the current adult population. And I think there's ways in which and as well as that, like, say if there was an ability for someone to set up collectives in in a city like Cork, how many do you think would actually open? Like in Barcelona, there was like 300, I think, open have opened. So these are all micro governed, non-profit. Maybe some are abiding by the rules. Like I said, strain hunters, like they were very much, and then others. I think HQ are good. I'm not even going to say anything bad about them. They're great. But like there are definitely others where, say, you go down La Rambla, this street in Barcelona, and someone will come up and whisper to you, oh, you want to see a cannabis social club, you pay me money and I'll go bring you. Yeah. And you have this kind of abuse of this system. Of course, you're always going to get that. But I wonder, say in Ireland now it's the CBD, we only have the CBD, but we can't even compare that because it's not legal. There's only like 2 dispensaries, like one in Waterford, one in one in Galway, sorry, but I guess there is one in Cork. Actually, there's 2 in Cork. There is actually 2. The Puff and Stuff and Mad were selling CBD, are selling CBD, and Funky Skunk. So I guess and Deeper, which is the same company. So I guess that's 4 already, and it's illegal. So there's 4 already, and it's illegal. Say one in Galway, probably a handful or half a dozen in Dublin for all I know. I don't know. How many would you think? I don't know. It's a kind of an arbitrary question, really. Like, but it would be interesting to see. Like, if you didn't agree with the club, just go form your own club. Like, just go fork your own version, have your own mates over, and have them be your clientele. And you don't have to worry about what you don't have to be competitive, or you don't have to be begrudgery, or you don't have to even complain. It could just be go set up your own club.
I think even what you said there is like, how many would there be? I would imagine it would be under that model. Like, if it's set up in that kind of the non-profit, community-orientated aspect, it would be as many as is necessary.
As many as needed, because you have to fill the demand, which there's so much demand, as we know.
But they're all going to be small local groups.
And they're going to be local. They're not going to be... What Little Collins are doing right now is like mail order. I've no problem with using technology to enhance, your business. In fact, I think e-commerce is obviously, through all of this, is where people are buying most of their stuff right now. They're not lining up outside. And even in America, they have a lot of, but I think it's quite local delivery services like Weed Maps, because of the state legislation. They're never going to mail it to from California to New York. They're still, and that's an interesting one because of the law. So maybe that's a good thing that they're only able to serve their local clientele. It probably enhances the quality anyway, that it has to be a delivery within a few minutes to an hour. It's probably not going to be crammed into an envelope and shipped off into, at the East Coast, like 6 hours away. Ireland obviously is a smaller country. I recognise that. Maybe we do have a national plan rather than a county local plan. I'd probably be more for the local, as long as the quality was not beaten by any of the national. Maybe I would try a national one then. But I guess as long as you have the social and the supply together, you wouldn't really be needing or wanting to go online and order through an e-commerce thing. You'd actually just want to show up, say hi to everybody, get it, either hang out or go home again, or go whatever you want to do. So I think the social and the supply need to go hand in hand, and it's probably only when Little Collins got shut down that their e-commerce blew up, because it was all had to be online then, and next thing you know, they have customers all over the country.
Ireland's biggest CBD dispensary now,
Is that true?
Apparently, anyway, yeah.
I just don't see how the supply is going to be sustainable, because there's no consumption of CBD in this country. There's no
not
people,
legally anyway.
Not legally, so I would assume they're relying on imported product from abroad, which keeps getting caught. They're definitely the biggest busts of any CBD dispensary.
From talking to him last, he seems like he's ready on the financial side anyway, in order to do what needs to be done in terms of the battle ahead. And it doesn't seem like he's stopping ordering in product either. Like they're just going to keep ordering in.
I hope they're smarter. I hope they become smart about the way they go and do their business, and learn not to store everything in one place that might get busted and then all their supplies gone. Because of course it sucks for a company that is selling something that's not harmful to have 10,000 or 20,000 euros worth of products to be stopped at a border. It just seems very unsustainable to keep going down that route. It's like you're just banging your head off. It's like you're just doing the same thing, expecting different results. It just seems like you're just going to keep ordering. It's going to keep getting stopped. You're going to keep suing. You're going to keep ordering. It's going to keep getting stopped. You're going to keep suing. But you're relying on the suing to actually make you money at the end of it. That's not a business model. You know, that the judge could just say, no, I know you've lost 30 or 40 grand. What do you do then? Your cash flow will eventually run out if you keep ordering and it gets stopped. Now, you could play roll of the dice and just hope that every 4 out of 5 orders make it through, every one doesn't make it through. It's not really an industry that's worth supporting, though, if that's all they do, when you can just order yourself on the internet and just do that and probably have a more chance of it getting in if you're not ordering 10 kilos like they are. Just order your 5-10 grams for €1, €2 per gram like they're paying.
Yeah.
It's all online anyway. It's all going to take some time anyway with the COVID thing. It's not going to be next day delivery. So wouldn't you just kind of do that? I mean, I was looking at some CBD suppliers around Europe. They're all back in business. Like, there seemed to have been a kind of a supply chain issue there for a while. I don't really... Well, yes and no. I think it was mostly just because let's say someone like, say a country like France or a country like Italy, like, you know, I don't think the couriers were even operating at one point. I think they just had to shut down everything, you know, so there was maybe a couple of weeks there. But now, I went on the Instagram there the other day, maybe today, yesterday, and some of the people that I've met at the CBD conference in Zurich last year, they're just, you know, posting up bags and bags of like kilos and kilos of CBD again. So it seems to be back again. So from a consumer point, you can just order on any of these websites. I mean, I guess you're taking a bigger risk than you think if you're ordering from a domestic supplier, but maybe you're not either, and you're getting it a lot cheaper and directly from the source. That touches less hands. It's probably also safer, and it's probably just better with less middlemen. But I don't know. Like, sustainable industry in Ireland, as we live in an island, unfortunately for the world of e-commerce and the world of trade, where we buy stuff cheaper in a different country, we ship it over here. You just can't really do that with cannabis. It's just not really sustainable. Yeah. It just can't be sustained for a number of reasons. Not just the quality assurance could go down in the transport, and the stockpile could be stopped. It's like it's carbon footprint as well. I mean, it would be much better just to order from a kind of market garden style cafe where they're growing somewhere within 10-20 kilometers away, and this has been brought fresh in the morning or whatever, and this is what you're getting right now in the jar. It just seems to be a better kind of, it seems to be the model that we want, right? That's kind of what we're pushing for, and it's what Barcelona have. Like, Catalonia don't do business with another part of Spain. Like, Catalonia are truly Catalonians. If they want to be Catalonians, they got to grow in Catalonia. You don't just go messing with Madrid and start taking Madrid supply. You know, that's just a culture they have. But I think in Ireland it's probably the same. If you had a Cork strain or a Dublin strain, which one are you going to take?
Yeah, for the people, but it seems like our policymakers are very much focused on the outside. Like, there hasn't been a single tap of conversation.
Who will determine the market, though? Will it be the people or will it be the policymakers? Who will determine the market at the end of the day? Like, does it come by doing, and eventually they just have to bring the grey into the...
Yeah. Well, I suppose if the policymakers only allow the outsiders to come in, then the market has no choice but to buy from the outsiders. But if it was a fair game, if the policymakers actually allowed it to be fair, and outsiders and insiders were allowed to compete against each other, then of course I think the public would support the locals, the insiders over the outsiders, despite maybe the cheaper products from the outsiders, because, as you say, like, quality assurance from somewhere here is a bit better versus...
Of course it is. I mean, if you get Irish honey, it's just going to be better than any honey that you're ever going to get anywhere in the world. I mean, it just is. It just absolutely is. But also to that point, it's like, unlike other products, this product is so in demand. Not even Tilray can satisfy a global market. Yeah. They can't do it. It's not sustainable. They can't grow all their weed in Canada and ship it around the world. Their tenders are not passing in Germany. They have one massive grow that's coming in Portugal, of course. And they're hoping that'll be the hub for all of Europe. It's a big assumption for them to make. Of course, they have the money to make that kind of gamble and to try it. I mean, just to say, let's just put 100 million into this facility, Europe's biggest facility, and supply all of Europe. I still don't think that's very sustainable, because eventually when all the states in Europe, this is only for medical now, of course, but even for recreational, when all the states become medicalized, I don't think they'll be able to satisfy the demand of 300 million potential patients. Like, it's just not going to be.
Yeah.
And then of course they're going to pivot to recreational. We know Tilray are obviously a recreational company at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Aurora and all the rest of them are recreational companies. That's not even going to be a bigger demand and satisfy that demand and not have shortages. I mean, it's going to piss the policymakers off, because eventually they're going to see we can't actually get the product into Ireland fast enough. So maybe if they do go that way, they're going to eventually have to understand, even if it's the hard way, you can't supply it like you can other products.